Well, I can guarantee you guys weren't expecting this video today, but welcome back everyone to another LifeBricks video. And I think a 1.5 year break is plenty long, so let's get back into it. And let me just say, right off the bat, just so you guys know, it feels very weird to be filming a proper video. This intro itself has taken me like 20 minutes already, so a lot of effort and editing and trial and error for this video return. It's pretty insane, so hopefully this cut makes it through. But anyway, guys, of course, I've been on some live streams on my channel. I've been on probably 100 live streams on other people's channels, but the first video back since literally January like 20th of 2024. And the reason for the break will still get explained at some point. I'm thinking I'll do a live stream this week, this Friday, and kind of title it like, you know, did LEGO silence me, and kind of just tell the truth about it. So I'll probably end up doing that. But let's cover some LEGO Star Wars 2026 news. We have the January wave right here. We have pretty much the set numbers, the set names, the piece counts, the prices, the description of the sets, and pretty much all of the minifigures as well. No pictures, of course, but we could talk about the information. This is all courtesy of Get Cooped over on Instagram. This is all not posted there, but he did send me a private thing, pretty much with every single thing up to date right here. So without further ado, I guess let's just get into it. And we'll start off with 75436. We have the Mandalorian and Grogu speeder bike, 58 pieces, $10, 6 plus. And the big thing here, the preliminary image of this set, which does not always mean that it's going to come in the official, set that releases on January 1st. The prelim, though, showed the UCS Razor Crest Din Djarin. So the minifigure that was previously, or still exclusive at this current point, to the UCS Razor Crest, the minifigure that I think is like $50 or $60 still. I know it did get Mexico factory back in the day, and it brought it down to like 20 or 30, but I think it's back up to the 50, 60 range. But either way, very nice looking premium, the best Din Djarin they've ever done, in my opinion at least, and previously exclusive to that set. There's a chance it might be coming in this $10 set, which, look, just right off the bat, it doesn't really bother me. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be nice for people that want to get that minifigure. And if it ends up not being that minifigure, of course, I'm also fine with that. Like, it just doesn't really matter to me in particular. But of course, for the mass majority of, the consumers and the buyers, getting the best of the best version of the figure in a cheaper set, it is what it is. And I'm happy for them if that ends up happening that way. But anyway, this right here, the Mandalorian Grogu speeder bike, 58 pieces for $10. It's nice to finally get a set back down to $10. Does not mean it's going to be a good build, though. I got a feeling it's going to be a very bare bones speeder, and kind of just have Din Djarin there. I'm surprised that it's not going to have Grogu. Maybe it will, but if it's $10 and you get both those figures and a little speeder bike, I definitely think that's going to be a fair little value, even if the build is not all that great. But there's that. Not much more to really talk about with that one. Next up, we have 75437, the Cobb Vanth speeder, 207 pieces, $30, 7 plus. Features armored Cobb Vanth and then also a Cad Bane. So I have a feeling the Cad Bane should be different, right? It should be a different outfit, Cad Bane. It might even have a lighter skin tone, because in the Book of Boba Fett, whether that was just the live action transition, or if the fact of him being older at that point, his skin was a little bit more kind of whited out, a little bit more pale, so you could have a lighter skin tone on the figure. Cobb Vanth with armor. It's been a while since I've watched all that stuff in Book of Boba Fett and Mando season 2 or 3 or whatever it was, but I could have swore that Cobb Vanth never had his armor with Cad Bane. I could be wrong on that. I'm not sure. Again, it's been at this point 3 or 4 years since that stuff came out. So if I am wrong, correct me down below. But either way, this is pretty much looking to be kind of like a hodgepodge of like, hey, for $30, let's give you a cool speeder and let's give you 2 very cool figures for this $30 price point. That's pretty much what it seems to be. It is, like I said, 3 or 4 years too late. This does give me hope, though, for them going back and eventually doing, say, more like, Bad Batch sets or Tales of the Jedi sets. Like, if it means that they're down to come back with this or come back to this 3 or 4 years later, I think, to me at least, that is the best piece of information involving this set, knowing that they're fine going back to it. But yeah, so there's that right there. I think it's going to be a fine set. $30 seems a little high. I mean, again, if this was 3 or 4 years ago, it'd be a $20 set, be a little, dual set kind of, but with a speeder bike instead of a little terrain build. But there's that. Next up, we have 75440. We have the ATAT right here, presumably going to be MIDI-Scale. It's not classified that as that yet, but you would hope. I mean, it's 18 plus, it's $60, 525 pieces. You know, if they really tried to cram down a play scale fig version like this, I mean, that'd be kind of insane. Although this does have no minifigures. So with all the information being said, this should be a MIDI scale AT-AT. And again, I guess you guys don't know. I mean, it's been so long. I mean, if you guys follow me on like other streams and like on my Instagram and stuff, which I still post over there all the time at LifeBricks, I've had an epiphany over the past like 2 or 3 months, and I've pretty much been a diehard like UCS collector all of a sudden. Like for the longest time there, like I would get the sets here and there. I would build one. I would build like the ISD, the gunship, the TIE fighter, a couple things like that. But I've actually built 3 more of them since, and I've really kind of transitioned into if my whole thing with like make Lego Star Wars big again, if I'm gonna like live by that, like UCS is pretty much all Lego's doing these days, like on the Star Wars side of things, that like really kind of fit that vibe of what I'm going for, big Lego Star Wars sets. So I'll just say this much: MIDI scale, I don't care for it one bit. When it originally came back, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, it was cool to see. I was happy to see kind of what direction they would go in, but I gotta be honest with you, it's just when we're getting to the point where these play scale sets and these MIDI scale sets are getting so close to each other, and there's not even really like anything nice about MIDI scale anymore, because it's like the play scale is almost down to that same size as well. Like it's not like how it was 15 years ago where you'd have a massive version and then you'd have a MIDI scale version. Like nowadays everything's just so close that I just need big Lego Star Wars sets, man. That's all I need. So the AT-AT, I personally don't really care for. People are kind of saying that it kind of breaks up the whole like Starship collection thing. I got a feeling they're either going to just not have that on the side of the box, or maybe call it something new. Like I doubt they're going to call it a land ship collection. I don't know. Maybe they call it that. Hey, if they do call it that, you heard it here first. But yeah, so there's that. Next up, we have another MIDI scale set, 75441, the MIDI scale Venator, 643 pieces, $80 and 18 plus. And I'll just say this: that them coming out with this set in 2026 January kind of just solidifies my opinion on the 2025 Acclimator MIDI scale. Like what was the point of that? Like in my opinion, like. It's again, it's cool since it's a prequel ship. It's cool that it's a clone ship. Like if you want to chop it up as that. But if they knew they were going to come out with the Venator a year later, I just don't know why the Acclimator needed to exist. Like I just don't know. And quite frankly, I would have, if they would have done the Acclimator last year, which they did, I would have rather them do a play scale set of the Venator or vice versa. Like I think just having a MIDI scale of both of those, it's really kind of pointless in my opinion. But both these MIDI scale sets, I mean, it's par for the course. No minifigures. The price per piece is kind of fine. Neither one of these. I mean, the Venator seems like maybe $10 too much. I think 65 or 70 would have been good for it. But I think $60 for the AT-AT, I think is par for the course. But there's my thoughts on those two. All I know is I would rather have big Venator and big AT-AT. Next up, we have 75443. We have the Grogu's Homestead, 107 pieces, $20, a 4+ set. Misleading name, this is what Coop said here, very small buildable Grogu plus accessories. So this is actually, it's not even a minifigure of Grogu. It's a very tiny buildable Grogu with a buildable homestead, I guess. So maybe like a little pocket of something where you can kind of sit in. And then accessories, so maybe like the ball thing from season 2, maybe one of those, or maybe like I don't know, maybe a chainmail thing or like a little something. I'm not sure, but that's all it is right there, a little 4+ set. He also brings up it's potentially pretty much going to be like the Olaf set from Disney a couple years back, kind of like that vibe. But overall, I mean, look, I'm Grogu'd out like a lot of us are probably, so it is what it is, but it's kind of ironic. I mean, right when we got a little break from Grogu stuff for like a year or two after like the huge push for it, like in the early 2020s. Now we're going to be right back to it come mid-2020. So I'm not looking too forward to it, but there's that. Next up, we have 75448. In my opinion, the wildest set that LEGO's ever done. Like this is just like, in my opinion, man, it's just such an out of touch like thing to do. It's the Clone Trooper Mech, Clone Shock Trooper Mech, 151 pieces, $15. And look, I'll leave it at this, man. Whether I like the Shock Trooper or not, like, just what is the point of this? Like, in my opinion, and I feel like a lot of us can agree, mech should be used for named characters that really don't have another spot elsewhere. That, like, you get one of, it's a one and done thing. You get a named character, you get a nice, minifigure that maybe we haven't had in 5 or 6 years. We get an updated version of it for $15. And, you kind of put the mech off to the side and you keep your fig, and, that's what you kind of do with it. But like for army builders, like I was saying this about the Stormtrooper a couple years ago, I'm gonna say this about this one now too. Like I'm gonna have these comments that say, oh, like I like army building my shock troopers. Well, dude, don't pay $15 for a mech and army build them. Buy them off a Bricklink for $3 each, man. Or just buy the $30 battle pack down to $24 now, where you get a lot more value for your money. Like, in my opinion, man, like I don't know where the sentiment came from. Like, oh, I'm gonna army build the Stormtrooper mech. Like what is the point? Just go buy them for $3 each. Like we know dang well you're not using those mechs for anything, and sure as hell not worth, you know, another $10 or $12 of value, you know, for army building 50 of them. Like, sure, if you get these for 70% off, like if you go to your Walmart and you find these shock trooper mechs for $4 each, sure, pick them all up, army build them. That's the best way to do it. But these mechs for anything more than like $7, it's just, why are you army building using these? I don't get it. That's just is that a hot take? Leave a comment down below. What do you guys think on that? But in my opinion, I think having a clone trooper in a mech is just pointless. Even if it was a good clone trooper. Again, even if it was good. I think they should keep mechs to named characters. Next up, we have 75449, the Siege of Mandalore Battle Pack. This is definitely one of the most hype sets I've seen. You know, of course, people talking about it. This is going to be $20, 116 pieces, 2 332nd clones, and 2 Mandalorian Super Commandos. The one thing I'll also say about this is, why was this not released in summer 2023? And why did we even get the other 332nd battle pack? Like, I don't know. You know, like, you guys know my thoughts on the other 332nd battle pack. Probably one of my, like, top 3 worst sets of all time, in my opinion. And to know that it's literally now totally obsolete because we're getting how the battle pack should have been, you know, 2 years later now, it's just insane to me. But so on paper, again, like, this is great. You know, it's a $20 battle pack. You get 2 and 2. I love when they spread it out like this. You know, versus pack or not, I just love when they spread figures out like this. Like, I think it's just a great ratio. You know, in a perfect world, the 332nd clones are fixed, but probably not going to be. Mandalorian Super Commandos, we're not sure if it's going to be 2 male, 2 female, 1 male, 1 female. You know, in a perfect world, it'd be 1 and 1 of each gender, just like how they did in the 2024 Imperial Super Commando one, the one where it actually had the 1 male and 1 female Night Owl Mandalorian in there. So hopefully they do again, or do the same thing in this set. But there's that. Next up, we have 75452, the Buildable BB8, 569 pieces, $90. So for this one, I'm surprised it's taken them this long to do it. I mean, we had that last one in 2017. In my opinion, a very fun buildable character. I've still got mine built over there. You know, got it from a little gift, you know, back in the day, and I built it back then, and I've had it ever since, and I like it. You know what I mean? I'm not the biggest fan of BB-8. I don't really care for him. I don't really remember much of him. He is what, you know, he's kind of just, he's a standard droid at that point. You know what I mean? He is what it is. I know some people like him, but I'm surprised it's taken him this long to, you know, redo it kind of like in the modern era of buildable characters. Since, you know, as much as I like the 2017 one, I mean, it is dated. You know what I mean? It's very studded, you know, pretty blocky in some aspects. The techniques aren't really the greatest. I mean, this one is definitely probably going to be a little bit smaller. I think it's got less pieces. But I do think the actual, like, technique of it and the look of it should be better. But nothing I'm going to pick up, you know, like, I'm just not really buying the buildable characters these days. You know, the only, like, current day, like, subsection of LEGO Star Wars I'm really buying, besides the UCS, are the helmet sets. So, yeah, the buildable characters aren't really for me. And then lastly on here, we have just 2 quick things, 75421, $70, and 75423, $100. And this will be an Empire and a Rebel spec, respectively. We're not too sure what they're going to be yet. There's some kind of things thrown out there in the pipeline. But, you know, look, with how crazy the internet is, I don't want to throw anything out there because if it ends up being wrong, I'm never going to hear the end of it. But, you know, there's 2 or 3 things kind of being spoken about for either of these. And I will say this much. If the Rebel one is true, boring. If the Empire one is true, I think a lot of us are going to like it. I think a lot of you guys are going to like it. But again, I'll leave it at that, since if I say anything more, what a good return video, right? If I say something that's wrong and everyone starts, you know, pitchforks in the streets, you know what I mean? They start throwing up signs and they want me canceled already the day I get back. But we'll leave it at that, guys. So 2 unknown sets, but look out for the future when we do find out what those are. I will definitely talk about it. And yeah, so that's everything for today's video. So this has taken a total of about an hour to film, which is insane. If it gives you guys any sort of like gauge, like back in the day, a 10-15 minute video would take me about 20 or 25 minutes to film. So this took about double the time because I messed up that intro about 50 times. It was pretty bad. Just not saying the right stuff or stumbling over stuff or repeating myself, but good to be back. That's all I can say. So all I ask from you guys, really, if you guys made it all this far in the video, leave a comment down below. Your thoughts on the sets themselves. Let alone just leave a comment to support. It'd be great. Let's get these videos back in the algorithm if they're not already. Which in a perfect world they are, but we'll have to see. Again, it's been a year and a half. Who really knows what is going to be happening with these videos, but I hope for the best. And at the end of the day, I will be back on YouTube this week. I have a couple other videos planned. And one other thing I will say. I'm doing a Q&A video this week. I'm bringing back that series, of course. If you guys have any questions for that Q&A series, leave a comment down below. If you guys can put Ask LBS at the front of it, though, and just so I kind of, can kind of pick and choose it throughout all the other comments. So that is everything for today's video. If you guys have not already, please subscribe to the channel. I am fully back on YouTube. And if you guys did unsubscribe throughout the last year and a half, please resubscribe, since I will be back giving you guys news and updates and other LEGO Star Wars commentary. That is all for today, folks. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye, guys, and stay safe.